Where was the Arbiter during the events of Halo 4? Seems like a pretty obvious question at face value, until you consider that the Forward Unto Dawn, the ship that the Arbiter and Chief were aboard as they escaped Installation 00, was split in two as it passed through the Arc portal, the front end making its way all the way back to Earth, apparently containing the Arbiter, and the rear section being redirected towards Requiem, containing the Chief. However, that's not what happened in the cutscenes. Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and today we're taking a closer look at the ending cutscenes of Halo 3 and the starting cutscenes of Halo 4 to explain an anomaly. So let's kick this off with looking at the ending cutscene of Halo 3.
Sacrifice and unshakable conviction that their fight, our fight, was elsewhere. As we start to rebuild, this hillside will remain barren, a memorial to heroes fallen. They ennobled all of us, and they shall not be forgotten.
Present hot!
The portal couldn't sustain itself. We made it through just as it collapsed. Well, some of us made it.
Seems pretty straightforward. The Forward Unto Dawn does indeed pass through the portal, and we do see, in the extended cutscene at least, the Chief floating ominously through space in the rear section of the Forward Unto Dawn. Pretty open-closed case, wouldn't you say? However, for the sakes of being thorough, let's look at the opening cutscene of Halo 4. Nope, it all seems okay here as well. We're looking at the rear section of the Forward Unto Dawn floating ominously through space, arriving at Requiem. So, where was Arbiter during the events of Halo 4? Well, he should have been at Requiem. I know, it doesn't seem very logical considering what we've just seen, but let's take a closer look at exactly how the Forward Unto Dawn was broken in half, and obviously there's technically two different variants that exist in that regard. The one we see in Halo 3 is the Charon class light frigate. However, the variant that we see in Halo 4 is the Strident class. Now, there's been a lot of conjecture as to whether or not this is simply because it was a placeholder or simply because of game assets, but I can't get my head around why they couldn't have been able to import the same model that they used in the earlier Halos into Halo 4, but I digress. Different subject altogether. Let's look at the Charon, considering that is supposed to be the variant and the one that we see the Arbiter exiting and the Chief remaining in at the end of Halo 3. This is the Charon class. And if we now superimpose the broken version of the Forward Unto Dawn over the top of it, we get this. Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that ship is broken forward of the bridge. I'm sure everyone would agree. This is the bridge, there's the break. It's a pretty clear and concise break, really, isn't it? So, going back to the cutscene that we see at the end of Halo 3, we see Chief and Arbiter go their separate ways within the ship, the Chief remaining in the launch bay with Cortana, and Arbiter moving, I assume, through the ship, and judging by his surroundings, he settles down in the captain's chair on the bridge of the Forward Unto Dawn. And therein lies our problem. The Arbiter was on the bridge of the Forward Unto Dawn. The Forward Unto Dawn, when it passed through the portal, broke forward of the bridge. For all intents and purposes, the Arbiter should have been at Requiem. Yet, apparently, as we see in the cutscene of Halo 3, he climbs out of the forward section of the Forward Unto Dawn after being cut out by Marines. So, what gives? How could he have possibly settled down in the captain's chair on the bridge and then be cut out of the forward section of the Forward Unto Dawn upon splashing down at Earth? There's 1,001 theories as to exactly what must have taken place, but there was such a short amount of time between the Arbiter settling down in the captain's chair and passing through the portal that I can't see that the Arbiter would have actually been able to make it anywhere. And what would have driven him in that circumstance to go from an area of relative safety, being the bridge, which is a self-contained section of the ship anyway that can be isolated environmentally from the rest of the ship, why leave the bridge to go further forward in the ship? That doesn't make any sense. So either Arbiter somehow almost instantly made his way from the bridge to a more forward section of the Forward Unto Dawn as it passed through the portal, or he remained on the bridge and should have been on Requiem. There is a third alternative, and that is that whatever being influenced the portal collapsing in the way that it did and redirecting the rear section of the Forward Unto Dawn to Requiem so that Chief could go and wake the Didact, intentionally took steps to remove the Arbiter from the equation. Why would that intelligence have done that? What risk or threat did the Arbiter pose to the plan that this being had in place for the Chief? Of course, I'm going to make no secret, I've discussed extensively in the past, it's likely that the being that took such action was Mendicant Bias. Mendicant Bias was talking to Chief in the closing moments of Halo 3 and said that he would try to keep the path stable and safe and that he tried to save Chief's life. So why was he so put out by the Arbiter? A lack of trust? It's interesting considering that Mendicant Bias likely saw most of what was happening with the Chief on Installation 00 and on the new Installation 04 or Installation 08. So he would have seen that the Arbiter fought by Chief's side as brothers in arms. I don't have an answer to this question, but I found it quite interesting when I realised that this was the situation, that somehow either the Arbiter was supposed to be at Requiem, or he wasn't, and somehow managed to get further forward in the ship. And yet Arbiter makes no mention of this at any point. And then the distinct possibility that the intelligence, likely Mendicant Bias, that took the steps to get Chief heading towards Requiem, took steps to remove the Arbiter from the equation. This is a little mystery in Halo 3 that I honestly hadn't noticed until, well, now. Which is pretty good going if you consider Halo 3 is well over a decade old now, and this is something new that I've just discovered in the game. I don't have an answer for this one. I made this video literally off the cuff, there's no script to this. But I made it because it was something new, something that stuck out, something that I hadn't noticed before. Something that is rife for theories being made about it, and an information that I thought you guys would appreciate knowing about. So I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I want to know your thoughts on the Discord server. So either comment below or jump across to the Discord and tell me, what are your theories? Because I would love to expand upon this in another video, and in the meantime, I'm going to reach out to a few people. I'm going to ask a few questions of people who may know the answer. So let's try to solve this mystery together. That leaves me to say, thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below. I look forward to what you have to say. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons: Neek the Silent Cartographer, Brian Sebastian, Red Sea, Darian, Stalker of the Realms, Falcon X003, the Holders of the Mantle, Alvin, Andre, Austin, Black Biscuit, Dreaming, J Rabbit, Kaiser, Reclaimer216, Samantha, Spartan A498, Squire Young, Silux, The Death Mantle, The Revanche, Thin Ice, my Reclaimers, Bastian, Christopher, Critical, Daniel, David, Deep Cover, Dylan, Flaming Halo, Guppy, Harbinger, Ice Lord Cryo, Josh, Verbal Statue, Kenneth, Mickey, Molshar, Nightrise, Spesigo, Starlight, Zach and Zach, my Metarchs, and all the other patrons that have jumped aboard to support the channel. You guys, seriously, you guys are awesome. And all of this wouldn't be possible without you. Just having you guys aboard is phenomenal. I've seen a massive spike in people jumping aboard. It's very, very humbling. If you like Halo Lore discussed to insane levels of detail, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you're told the second a new video hits the shelves. Be sure to support us on all major social media channels, including Discord. And if you really love the channel, consider heading over to Patreon, joining the domain and the list of beautiful human beings who exist there that I've just listed, as well as tons more, and supporting the channel over there, or indeed becoming a channel member by hitting that join button. It would mean the world to me and would free up more of my time for me to put into this content and other Halo related goodness. Take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.